Navy SEALs. They are the United States Navy's primary special operations force, and the name itself tells you everything. Sea, air, land. 3 environments most soldiers train to survive in, and SEALs train to dominate in all 3. The unit was established in 1962 under President John F. Kennedy, who believed the military needed a force capable of operating in ways conventional warfare simply could not. From that directive came one of the most recognized fighting forces in the world. Their training pipeline is famously brutal. Basic underwater demolition and SEAL training runs roughly 6 months, and buried inside it is hell week 5.5 days of near continuous cold water, sleep deprivation, and physical strain that exist for one reason: to find out who will keep going when everything inside them says stop. Fewer than a quarter of candidates complete it. Those who earn the trident operate in 8-man teams inserted by sea, air, or land, depending on what the mission demands. They are the force that located and killed Osama bin Laden in 2011 and rescued cargo ship captain Richard Phillips from Somali pirates in 2009. With roughly 2,500 active duty members across 8 teams, they remain one of America's most deployed and most capable special operations forces. Green Berets. The Green Berets carry an official name, United States Army Special Forces, but it is the beret itself, forest green and worn with quiet authority, that the world recognizes. Established in 1952, they were built around a concept that was unusual for the military at the time, winning not through overwhelming force, but through relationships, language, and the ability to work within cultures that most outsiders would never understand. Their core unit is the Operational Detachment Alpha, a 12-man team where every soldier holds a specialty: weapons, communications, engineering, or medicine, and every soldier is cross-trained so the team never loses capability. Green Berets embed with foreign forces for months at a time, learning local languages, building trust, and preparing host nation fighters to defend their own territory. That approach is called unconventional warfare, and it has shaped outcomes in Vietnam, El Salvador, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria, among many other places. Their motto, De Oppresso Liber, translates to liberate the oppressed, and it reflects a mission philosophy that has always been as much about people as it is about combat. There are roughly 7,000 Green Berets organized across 7 active duty groups, each aligned to a specific region of the world. 75th Ranger Regiment. The 75th Ranger Regiment is the Army's elite light infantry force, and their history stretches back to Rogers Rangers in 1756, though the modern regiment was formalized in 1974. Rangers are built for speed, precision, and aggression. They specialize in direct action raids and airfield seizures, the kind of missions that require a force to arrive fast, overwhelm a target, and be gone before the enemy has time to organize a response. The regiment is made up of 3 battalions totaling around 3,000 soldiers, and every one of them has completed Ranger School, a 61-day course spread across mountains, swamp, and desert terrain that strips candidates down to almost nothing before they finish. Rangers have led some of the most significant operations in modern military history: the invasion of Grenada in 1983, the airfield seizure in Panama in 1989, and the Battle of Mogadishu in 1993. An engagement so intense it became both a book and a film. They deploy more frequently than nearly any other special operations unit, and their motto, Rangers Lead the Way, has been lived out in combat across every major conflict since World War II. Marine Raiders. Marine Raiders exist because the Marine Corps eventually decided that having no special operations force of its own was no longer acceptable. Established in 2006 under Marine Corps Forces Special Operations Command, or MARSOC, they drew their name from the original Marine Raiders of World War II, units that conducted some of the most demanding amphibious guerrilla operations of the Pacific Campaign. The modern Raiders carry that identity forward with a selection process designed to find Marines who can operate not just with physical toughness, but with the adaptability and judgment that special operations demands. Their assessment and selection course runs 3 weeks and focuses heavily on decision-making under sustained stress. Raiders organize into 3 battalions totaling roughly 2,400 operators, and they deploy in 14-man teams to some of the most volatile regions on the planet. Their missions cover foreign internal defense, special reconnaissance, and direct action. From the Philippines to Syria, raiders work in environments where operational success depends as much on cultural awareness and restraint as it does on combat effectiveness. Air Force Special Tactics. Air Force Special Tactics is what you get when you take the most demanding jobs in the Air Force and combine them into a single force. It consists of 3 distinct career fields, each essential to how modern special operations works. Combat controllers parachute into denied areas ahead of conventional forces, establish landing zones, and provide air traffic control in places no air traffic controller was ever meant to be. They hold full FAA certification while also qualifying as special operations combatants, a combination that exists nowhere else in the military. Tactical Air Control Party Specialists, or TACPs, embed with ground combat units and call in airstrikes, translating the chaos of a ground fight into precise targeting data for aircraft operating miles above. Their ability to coordinate fires between ground and air is what makes close air support possible in complex environments. Pararescue men, known as PJs, are the unit's combat search and rescue specialists. Their sole mission is to locate and recover isolated personnel, often wounded, often in active threat environments. They carry extensive medical training and deploy into gunfights not to fight their way through, but to bring someone home. Their motto, that others may live, is not figurative. Delta Force. Delta Force does not officially exist, which is exactly how the unit prefers it. Known formally as 1st Special Forces Operational Detachment Delta, the unit was founded in 1977 by Colonel Charlie Beckwith, a former Green Beret who had trained alongside the British SAS and came back convinced the United States needed a dedicated counterterrorism unit of the same caliber. Delta specializes in hostage rescue, direct action against high-value targets, and operations that require precision, deniability, and zero margin for error. Operators are recruited from across the military and put through a selection process that has never been publicly detailed, but the attrition rate makes clear what it demands. Teams are small, typically 4 to 6 operators, designed to move quietly and solve problems without leaving evidence behind. Delta was present at Mogadishu in 1993, hunted war criminals across the Balkans in the 1990s, and has served as the tip of the spear in Iraq and Afghanistan for 2 decades. The unit is based at Fort Liberty, North Carolina, in a compound that remains one of the most secured and least visible facilities in the American military. DEVGRU. DEVGRU, officially the Naval Special Warfare Development Group and formerly known as SEAL Team 6, was established in 1980 by Commander Richard Marchenko as a direct response to gaps exposed during the failed Iranian hostage rescue attempt. Where standard SEAL teams operate broadly across special operations missions, DEVGRU was purpose-built for one thing: the most sensitive, highest-stakes counterterrorism operations in the world. Based at Dam Neck Annex in Virginia, the unit recruits exclusively from the existing SEAL community, and selection is as demanding as anything the military runs. Operators work in small assault teams and have access to equipment and techniques that often remain classified years after deployment. DEVGRU conducted Operation Neptune Spear in May 2011, the raid in Abbottabad, Pakistan, that resulted in the death of Osama bin Laden. That single mission made the unit the most discussed special operations force in the world, a difficult position for an organization whose existence is never officially acknowledged. Beyond Neptune Spear, DEVGRU has operated across Africa, the Middle East, and Central Asia in missions that rarely surface in public record. Intelligence Support Activity. The Intelligence Support Activity is a unit most people in the defense community have never heard of, which is entirely by design. Founded in 1981 in the direct aftermath of Operation Eagle Claw, the failed mission to rescue American hostages in Iran, ISAA was created to fill the intelligence gap that contributed to that failure. Its mission is straightforward in concept and extraordinarily difficult in execution. Find the people that other special operations units are tasked to capture or kill. Before those units ever move, ISAA recruits from across the military and intelligence community, selecting for language fluency, cultural adaptability, and the ability to operate without any visible connection to the U.S. government. Teams are small, often 2 to 4 personnel, and they deploy months ahead of military operations to conduct surveillance, gather signals, intelligence, and run human sources in environments where a single mistake ends the mission and likely the operator. ISAA has supported operations in Central America, the Balkans, Iraq, Afghanistan, and numerous other locations that remain unacknowledged. They operate under non-official cover, and the unit itself has gone by several names over the years. Gray Fox, the activity, none of them permanent. 161st Special Operations Aviation Regiment. The 161st Special Operations Aviation Regiment, known as the Nightstalkers, was formed because Operation Eagle Claw in 1980 revealed something the military could no longer ignore. Inserting special operations forces into hostile territory at night required pilots with a completely different level of skill than anything in the conventional force. Based at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, the regiment operates MH-60 Black Hawks, MH-47 Chinooks, and AH-6 Little Birds, all modified specifically for low-altitude, low-visibility flight using night vision systems. Their pilots trained to fly in weather and conditions that no commercial or conventional military standard would permit. The Nightstalkers provide aviation support for Delta Force, DEVGRU, and Ranger operations worldwide, and their role means that when a mission goes, they go first. Their motto, Nightstalkers Don't Quit, was tested at Mogadishu in 1993 when crews continued to fly into an active urban battle after 2 helicopters had already been shot down. The regiment does not conduct the raids, they make the raids possible. Civil affairs and psychological operations. Civil affairs and psychological operations are the 2 special operations disciplines that work furthest from the sound of gunfire and often produce the most lasting results. Civil affairs soldiers deploy in small teams into conflict zones and post-conflict environments to work directly with civilian populations, rebuilding infrastructure, reestablishing governance, and creating conditions stable enough for other military operations to succeed. They operate where conventional forces would destabilize the environment simply by being present, and their effectiveness is measured not in objectives seized but in communities that no longer need outside intervention. Psychological Operations, or SYOP, works on a different front entirely. SYOP soldiers develop and deliver messaging specifically designed to influence the beliefs and behavior of target audiences, enemy combatants, civilian populations, and foreign governments. The tools are varied: radio broadcast, social media, printed materials, loudspeaker operations. The objective is always the same: change what people believe, and you change what they do. Some of the most strategically significant outcomes in modern conflict, entire regions stabilizing without major combat operations, trace back to civil affairs and PSYOP efforts that will never appear in any official account.